There is a vision scientist at the University of California who has spent years mapping exactly what a cat's eye delivers to the brain. Not what cats feel, not whether they bond, what they actually see. The raw visual data that arrives when your face is the object directly in front of them. The findings are not what cat owners expect. Because every assumption most people carry about how their cat perceives them is built on one idea, that cats see the world the way we do, a little different in the dark, sure, a little sharper on the edges, but fundamentally the same picture, the same colors, the same face looking back. That assumption is wrong in almost every direction. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your cat's visual system when they look at you, the things that looked like indifference start to look like something else entirely. Your cat is not ignoring you. They are reading you, just not the way you think. Here is where most people start. Cats have excellent vision. Everyone knows this. They hunt in low light, they catch movement that humans cannot see, they navigate entire rooms at night without making a sound. So when your cat sits across from you and looks up at your face, the assumption is obvious. They are seeing you, clearly, the way you see them. That assumption is wrong in almost every measurable direction. Researchers at the City University of London, drawing from decades of established feline ophthalmology data, have produced detailed visual models of what the cat eye actually delivers to the brain. The color spectrum available to your cat is dramatically narrower than yours. The red-green channel, which accounts for a large portion of what makes human skin tones warm and readable, is largely unavailable to them. What your cat sees when they look at your face is a desaturated world of blues, yellows, and flat, muted grays. The pinks, the warm tones, the expression lines you read in a fraction of a second, they register to your cat as a version of beige. Your face, to your cat, is a different face. But that is only the beginning of what the research shows. Feline visual acuity, the actual sharpness of the central image, peaks at a fraction of what human vision delivers at normal conversational distance. The ophthalmological modeling puts the gap at somewhere between 6 and 8 times less sharp than what you see. At the distance your cat normally sits from you, roughly 50 to 75 centimeters, your face does not arrive as a face. It arrives as a shape, a silhouette, a broad mass of movement and tone with no readable detail at the center. 6 to 8 times less sharp. That is not a small gap. That is a fundamentally different picture arriving in a fundamentally different brain. This is not a deficiency, it is a design. Cats evolved as ambush predators across open terrain over millions of years. What that environment selected for was not fine facial recognition. It was peripheral motion detection and rapid close-range threat assessment. Their visual system is built to catch what moves at the edge of a field, not to decode the micro-expressions of a primate face at close quarters. What this means for you, sitting across from your cat on a Tuesday evening, is that the warmth you are projecting, the expression you are holding, the emotional signal you believe is landing clearly, none of it is arriving the way you imagine. Your face, at that distance, is a blur with a voice attached. The standard reading of this finding is that cats simply do not track human faces, that they are reading you through other systems, and your expression is irrelevant to them. That reading is partly correct, but it misses the deeper layer entirely. In 2013, researchers at the University of Lincoln published findings from a controlled series of experiments examining how cats process human emotional faces. The widely circulated result was this: cats showed no consistent emotional bias toward unfamiliar human faces, with a neutral one in controlled conditions. Dogs, run through the same protocol, oriented reliably toward the positive expression. The conclusion that spread through popular science writing was simple: cats do not read human faces. That conclusion was incomplete. What the Lincoln team found in follow-up work was considerably more specific. Cats showed no consistent emotional bias toward unfamiliar human faces, but with their owner's face, the response was different, and what they were tracking was not the expression at all, it was the eyes. The orientation of your gaze, the rate at which you blink, the dilation of your pupils under different emotional states. Those are the signals your cat has built a vocabulary around, not the shape of your mouth, not the position of your brows, the physiological information encoded in your eyes below the level of anything you are consciously performing. Your cat has learned to read your nervous system, not your face. There is a specific behavior that researchers at the University of Sussex studied in 2020, led by Dr. Karen McComb, the slow blink. Cat owners have passed this knowledge around informally. For years, some do it, some dismiss it, most have never been told what it actually communicates at a neurological level. The study design was direct. Owners performed slow blink sequences toward their cats. Cats returned slow blinks at a significantly higher rate than in control conditions, where owners maintained neutral, still expressions. The effect held across unfamiliar experimenters performing the same sequence toward cats they had never met. What the slow blink communicates in feline social language is the deliberate suspension of threat monitoring. In almost every predatory species, sustained direct eye contact is a precursor to an attack. A cat holding eye contact with you is not bonding with you. They are running an active assessment. The slow blink is the deliberate interruption of that process. It signals, I have completed my assessment. You are not a threat in this moment. When you slow blink back, you are not performing a human gesture that your cat finds endearing. You are transmitting directly into their nervous system in a language that predates every domesticated interaction either of you has ever had. It lands because it has nothing to do with your face. If you are finding this useful, take a second and subscribe. There is a lot more of this kind of research that most cat content never reaches. Now, here is the part of this that most cat owners have never been told directly and clearly, and it is the part that has nothing to do with your cat's vision. Your cat cannot read your expression clearly, but they can read your stress with extraordinary precision. Research published in the journal Animal Cognition in 2019 found that cats adjust their behavior in direct response to their owner's emotional state, in ways that had previously been categorized as coincidence. When owners were in elevated stress states, their cats increased time spent in close proximity, increased direct physical contact, and showed significantly more investigatory behavior directed specifically at the owner's face and hands. Not because they were offering comfort in the way a person would intend comfort, because your stress produces measurable physiological outputs that your cat is built to detect, with far greater sensitivity than their visual system allows. Cortisol changes your scent in ways that are detectable at extremely low concentrations. Tension changes your movement patterns at the level of muscle engagement. Fear and anxiety alter your respiration rate and shift the register of your voice before a single deliberate word leaves your mouth. Your cat cannot see that you had a bad day, but they smelled it the moment you came through the door. The researcher Kristen Vital at Unity College has conducted multiple controlled studies on cat social cognition and the attachment bond between cats and their owners. Her findings across those studies converge on a single consistent point. Cats do not treat their owners as unpredictable objects in the shared environment. They use them as active social referencing points. When something ambiguous happens in the space around them, cats orient toward their owner's face, not to read the expression, to extract the single binary signal their nervous system can reliably decode at that distance. Calm or alarm, safe or dangerous, stay or move. Your face, to your cat, functions as a compass, not a mirror. There is a body of early research from the 1980s that shaped how the scientific community and popular writers thought about cat cognition for the following 3 decades. The object permanence studies of that era concluded that cats had a limited grasp of objects that left their visual field. Out of sight, the researchers concluded, was close to genuinely gone for a cat. The researcher Kristen Nauroth at the Leibniz Institute for Farm Animal Biology returned to this question in 2016 with a critical methodological correction. What the original studies had not measured was what the cats were actually doing when the object disappeared. They were using scent and auditory tracking to follow objects that had left their visual field entirely. They were not failing the object permanence test. They were running a parallel version of it, built on sensory systems the original researchers had no instruments to measure. The conclusion was not simply that cats are more capable than previously believed. The conclusion was structural. Cats organize their understanding of the world through a completely different sensory hierarchy than humans use. Vision is not the primary channel. It is one input among several, and for the things that matter most, tracking what is real and where it is and whether it is safe, vision sits below scent and below sound in the ranking. You are not invisible to your cat when they stop looking at you. You are being tracked by instruments that do not require your face at all. What all of this means, taken together, is something most cat owners have never been told directly and clearly. The complete model your cat has built of you has almost nothing to do with your face. It was assembled from your scent profile, built up across months and years of shared proximity, your movement patterns, the specific cadence of your footsteps on that particular floor in that particular home, your vocal register when you are calm versus when something is wrong, the specific sound your breathing makes when you finally sit down at the end of a long day and let the tension out. They do not see your face the way you imagine they do. The sharpness is too low, the color is too flat, the distance is too great for the decal to survive the journey. But they know you in a way that runs underneath the face entirely, underneath deliberate communication, underneath anything you have ever consciously performed for them or tried to show them. The look your cat gives you from across the room is not indifference. It is the look of an animal that already finished reading you before you realized they had started.